Before I hand over to David at 12, I'm going to meet the student who gave up on being a stockbroker to help people hold on to the memories.
When people wake up and turn on the radio, we're there to tell them what the main stories are each morning. Welcome to Good Morning Scotland with Hayley Miller and Gary Robertson.
Get up, get going and get across whatever's happened overnight.
Probably the last survey they will conduct before the referendum.
And we're able to ask the questions that I think people listening want to hear the answer to.
Which is true, which is not true? How do they arrive at different figures like this?
Good Morning Scotland, 7 days a week.
Now let's get a travel update. Emily Watson, good morning.
Sports headlines now from Phil Goodloud.
Staying with business, Laura McKeever has news.
Another day like yesterday, is it? Kirsty MacDonald, I'd take that.
Everything you need to know every day on BBC Radio Scotland.
It is, as I say, 10 to 12. David Henderson will be joining you at 12 o'clock. We've been speaking about memories this morning, in fact, for the last week, as part of the Memories and Conversations season on BBC Radio Scotland. And there is a consensus that they're very important for simulating conversations. There is still the practical problem of how to access and store them. Enter 21-year-old Cameron Graham, who had a eureka moment, I think we can say, while lying in a hospital bed with kidney failure. It's a very dramatic place to be having that. Morning to you,
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Good. Well, you've come up with an app called Storii, yeah?
Yes, so Story improves lives through memories. It's a web platform at the moment that enables families to upload media, which could be in the form of images, video recordings, audio recordings. You can put it all into one place and then invite your friends and families from across the world to add their content into that place as well.
Is that not called Facebook?
No, because if you go into a care home, for example, which is where we primarily use Story, and you said, right, let's set up a Facebook profile for everyone in the care home, it's not going to happen. There's huge privacy concerns, and the things you can do in Story, you can't necessarily do in Facebook in terms of access to profiles and access to media.
And I mean, this is a sort of dedicated tool, if you like, with a clear objective to bring all of these sources together. Yeah. So tell us about the kind of genesis of this idea then. Were you really lying in a hospital bed and thought, wait a minute?
Yeah, I was. I had kidney failure after doing the Great Scottish Run. It was completely out of the blue, really. And I was lying in my bed and I saw this man a few beds down from me that had dementia. He was really struggling with his memories and struggling with where he was. But when his granddaughter came to visit him, she showed him photographs of his life. And I saw his eyes light up and kind of things came back to him. But when she left, he receded back into himself. And I just thought, you know, they're missing a trick there. That could be used by the nurses, by staff, to really improve this man's life. So that's when I started kind of thinking about how we could do something, and yeah, that's where it all began.
And so you presumably had the skills to be able to start on that, because it's one thing to have a good idea, and certainly was a good idea, but making it happen is a whole different...
Well, yes and no. Initially I did do coding as a kid. I made some websites and made a bit of money through websites online, but for what we were doing, we really needed a big team. We needed developers, we needed marketing, we needed designers. So I started off thinking, right, how can we do this? What people do we need? And looked around universities, interviewed people, and built up a great team. So
what stage in your life were you at that point? Were you at uni?
I was still at uni, technically.
Technically?
Yeah, you know, I was still at uni, and I went to Strathclyde University. I've been very supportive of what I've done. And I basically said, this is what I want to do. I'd love to continue my studies, but it's going to take up so much time. Can I defer? And they said, yeah, go for it, and they've let me do it. So I'm graduating this year with my 3 years. I don't get my honours, I get my bachelor's, but I think it's the right thing to do. And
that was a big move for you then. You must have been very kind of emotionally attached to this project.
Yeah, I mean, this is my baby, really. I've spent so much time in it, and I wouldn't go back. I definitely wouldn't go back.
Yeah. So tell us a bit more about the app then, and how it'll work, and the applications that you see for it.
So in a care setting, a carer can take a photo of a group activity. It could be some residents singing, or it could just be an audio recording of a resident themselves. They can then upload that to that resident's profile, And then families throughout the world, they could be in Aberdeen or Australia, they can see what has been uploaded. They can then comment on it. They can comment to the carer saying that they're doing a great job so that the carer gets appreciation for what they do. And they can also add information themselves that the carer can then use for reminiscence therapy.
Right. So do you see it having its main value being used in conjunction with a care worker, or do you see the individual themselves being able to use it independently?
Primarily out of our kind of experience, it's best to be used by the carer themselves, because if you give someone with progressive dementia an iPad, sometimes you can get a bit flustered, sometimes you don't really understand what's actually on the screen. So yeah, it's the carer that uses it. Primarily.
Right, okay. And so from a practical point of view, clearly, I mean, you could get old photographs, you could ask family to bring in old photographs and other things that would spark memories, but I guess this is having everything in the one place, and also the range of content that you'll be able to pull into it, much more diverse, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's images, videos, audio recordings, kind of more modern things like GIFs. We're really trying to open it up to take in everything, really. And in terms of feedback, we wouldn't be the platform we are today without feedback. So if anyone has great suggestions for other things they'd like to put in the platform, please let us know.
So what stage are you at with it?
So we're in beta, which basically means that we're very nearly there. We're taking on feedback, but it's kind of still testing. We're looking to officially launch in September time.
Right.
But you can access it right now. It's storii.com. That's STORII.com.
Right, double I.
It's two I's. You can access it right now and sign up and start uploading your memories.
Right, okay. So what is beta stage? Forgive me for my digital ignorance.
So you can kind of get alpha and then beta. So beta is kind of like, we'd like to show you what we've got right now. You can use it and test it, but it's not 100% perfect.
Okay, right.
So basically, we're wanting feedback.
Right, and so you must have had some feedback, presumably. What are people saying about it?
We've had some great feedback, and it's good to see people actually enjoying the platform and actually getting the memories up there. We had some feedback from carers saying they'd like more music in the platform, so for the care home version, they can actually access music very quickly now, and they can play it for residents.
Yeah. So do you have another project lined up after this, or is this the one that's kind of got your heart?
No, it's just Story. We're going full out for the one thing, yeah.
Yeah, completely. We've got some good stories about people getting belted. I don't know if you would like to.
Yeah, I was listening about the belt.
That must seem like absolute ancient history to you.
Yeah, well, funnily enough,
How old are you, Cameron?
I'm 21.
Right,
21.
okay.
So it's never happened to me, but I'm pretty sure my dad's told me a few stories about getting the belt every now and then.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a badge of honour at one point, but as I say, when you're reading these texts out now, you think, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that we went back here.
Yeah.
We've got some corkers here. We've got Barney says, we had a history teacher who gave you 3 of the belt if you got less than 50% in an exam for not trying, 3 if you got over 50% for cheating, and 3 if you got dead on 50% for being bloomin' awkward. Honestly, everyone got 3 of the best.
Wow.
That's what you call a teacher who's fair, though, you have to say. You know, everyone gets it. But there's no reason. Richard and our girl says, I was given the belt my first term at school. The class had been given homework for the first time and were instructed to get a parent to sign what we had done. I asked my mother, who told me she would sign it and put it in my bag. She forgot. I was belted. My mother and I were both traumatised by this episode, and I spent my remaining years at school in a state of fear. Thank goodness these barbaric acts are now not allowed. I mean, what would have been really good, wouldn't it, if the mother had been requested to turn up at school and had got belted, because clearly it was her fault, wasn't it? I mean,
that'd be justice.
Yeah, that would be justice. She should definitely have been dragged up there to get it in there. And Douglas from Straven says, I was belted on my first day in primary school in 1978, apparently for talking too much. I just remember being really excited, and I kept asking everyone what their name was. I just couldn't remember all of their names, and the poor soul got belted for it. I should just, on memories there, plug my memory. In terms of the use of Story as an app, are you aiming this specifically at people with dementia, or do you think it's going to have a broader use than that?
Funnily enough, no. One of the reasons we called it Stories because we didn't want to labelise people at all, especially if it's someone that's got dementia. They might not necessarily want to use something that says, I've got dementia. Story can be used by carers, it can be used by individuals, it can be used by care homes, social care, foster care, even wards within hospitals. So there really is a lot of scale that we can kind of go to with it. But at the moment, we're kind of focusing on our niche, which is people with dementia.
Yeah, but as a conversation, as an icebreaker, if you like, and just kind of bringing people back into a social environment, you could absolutely see how it would have a wider use than just with people with dementia. But clearly we thought this was a really interesting one, given that BBC Scotland's got their Memories and Conversations website. So you're one ahead of us, but there you go, you're 21. What can we expect? Cameron, listen, thank you very much. Very best of luck with that. It is just coming up to 12 o'clock. Let me hand you over to David Henderson.
Thanks very much, Kaye. Good afternoon. It's 12 o'clock.